Good morning, students. Hope you all are doing well. So today we are going to start new chapter of science, chapter number 1, nutrition in plants. At the end of this video, I will be giving you few questions which you have to solve. So let's start. What we will study in this chapter is how plants get nutrition. So let's start. Most food we eat is in insoluble form. The various components of a food are carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, roughage, and water. Food provides us energy for our daily activities and helps us in growth and reproduction. Different animals take different kinds of food. Green plants make their own food by a process called photosynthesis. Humans and animals get their food from plants or from smaller animals. This dependence for food on one another and various aspects of nutrition are discussed in this chapter. Nutrition. All living organisms need energy to perform various activities. So students, do you ever thought from where you are getting these energies? Let's think about it. Exactly. You are obtaining these energy from the food you eat. Energy is stored in the food materials as chemical energy. To make this food energy available to the living organisms, it is broken down into smaller and soluble molecules inside their body. These smaller molecules then react with oxygen inside the cell to release energy. So what would be the definition of nutrition? Yes, the definition of nutrition would be the process of taking food and its utilization by the body is called nutrition. Do you know the way food is burnt in your body is different from the way the fuels such as petrol, diesel, coal are burnt to produce energy. Now, in living organisms, food is the basic source of energy. Therefore, it is very important to know how different organisms get their food. Based on the food habits, the mode of nutrition in living organisms are divided into two categories. Can you guess? Exactly. They are autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. This we will study in the next lecture. So next topic is modes of nutrition. In living organisms, food is a basic source of energy. Therefore, it is very important to know how different organisms get their food. Based on the food habits, the mode of nutrition in all living organisms are divided in two categories. First is autotrophic nutrition and second is heterotrophic nutrition. So first we will discuss about autotrophic nutrition. The mode of nutrition in which organisms make its food itself from simple inorganic substances is called autotrophic nutrition. Auto means self and tropes means nourishment or holophytic nutrition. The organisms which make their own food from the simple substances present in the environment are called autotrophs. Autotrophs are their producers of food, so they are also called producers. Green plants make their food from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. So the mode of nutrition in green plants is autotrophic. Now heterotrophic nutrition. The mode of nutrition in organisms that cannot make their food and depend on other food for their food is called heterotrophic nutrition. Heteros means other and tropes means nourishment or holozoic nutrition. The organisms which cannot make their food and depend on others for their food are called heterotrophic nutrition or heterotrophs. The mode of nutrition in heterotrophs is called heterotrophic. Animals and humans do not make their food. They eat the food prepared by plants or eat the flesh of the smaller animals. Therefore, all animals and humans are heterotrophs. Depending upon the food they eat, heterotrophs can be divided into the following three types. First is herbivores. Second is carnivores and third is omnivores. Herbivores, plant eaters. The animals which eat only grass, plants or plant products are called herbivores. Example, elephant, camel, cow, deer, goat, grasshopper, etc. are herbivores. Next is carnivores or meat eaters. The animals which eat meat or flesh of the other animals are called carnivores. Example, lion, tiger, jackal, hawk, frog, snake, vulture, lizard are carnivores. Now omnivores, both plant and meat eaters. The animals which eat both plants and meat are called omnivores. Man eats both meat and plants, therefore man is an omnivore. Crow, dog, ant, sparrow and myna are some other omnivores. We depend on plants and animals for our food. Food items obtained from plants like rice, wheat, pulses, fruits, vegetables, and food obtained from animals are milk, cheese, curd, meat, eggs, etc. Now photosynthesis or food making process in plants. Green plants make their own food from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. The process by which green plants make their food is called photosynthesis. Photo means light, synthesis means building up. Photosynthesis is described by the following reaction. Carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll gives glucose plus oxygen. Or you can say 6CO2 plus 6H2O gives, in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, C6H12O6 that is glucose plus 6O2 that is oxygen. Plants thus convert solar energy into chemical energy of the food. This synthesized food is then distributed to different parts of the plant and tree. During photosynthesis, green plants take carbon dioxide of the air through tiny pores called stomata. The stomata are present on the under surface of the leaves. Water and minerals are absorbed through their roots. Now next one is factors affecting photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is affected by a number of environmental factors. These are: first one is light intensity. As the light intensities increase, the rate of photosynthesis increases almost linearly. At higher light intensity, the rate of photosynthesis becomes limiting. Second one is nature of light. The blue and red regions of the visible lights are most effective for photosynthesis. If the light of some other color is made to fall on the plants, then the rate of photosynthesis decreases. Then temperature. The temperature does not affect the light reaction but affects the dark reaction markedly. The effect of temperature on photosynthesis varies from plants to plants. Last one is carbon dioxide and water. Poor availability of carbon dioxide in water lowers the extent or rate of photosynthesis. Now, next one is how do plants obtain their requirement for photosynthesis? For photosynthesis, plants need the following. First one is carbon dioxide, light, temperature, water and chlorophyll. These are obtained by the plants as follows. Plants take up the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere or through stomata present on the undersurface of the leaves. Water, plants take up the water from soil through the root system. Chlorophyll is present in the leaves and sunlight comes from the sun. Now what is the role of leaves in photosynthesis? Photosynthesis occurs mostly in the leaves. The inner structure of the leaves shows two important features. The inner surface of the leaf shows two important features. First is presence of chlorophyll containing cells. Second one is presence of small pores generally on the undersurface of the leaves. These are called stomata, or in singular form stoma. Carbon dioxide enters a leaf through these pores. The first one is open stomata and second one is closed stomata. So next topic is synthesis of plants. plant food other than carbohydrates. Plant synthesize glucose through photosynthesis. Glucose is the simplest carbohydrates and contains carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Plants synthesize other food nutrients such as fats, proteins through amino acids. Proteins contain elements like nitrogen, phosphorus and sulfur. The process by which plants synthesize proteins and fats from glucose is quite complex. The other elements present in proteins are derived from the soil. Here we describe the sources of nitrogen needed by the plants to synthesize proteins. Plants get nitrogen in the form of soluble salts such as nitrates, urea, ammonium sulfate, etc. from the soil through their root system. The atmospheric nitrogen cannot be utilized by plants as such. However, certain bacteria such as symbiotic bacteria present in the roots nodules of the leguminous plants can convert atmospheric nitrogen into soluble salts of nitrogen, example nitrates. These salts, being soluble, are absorbed by plants through their root system. In this way, plants get nitrogen to prepare proteins needed for their growth and for the animals deriving their food from plants. Now, other modes of nutrition are: green plants can make their own food from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of chlorophyll, a green pigment present in green leaves, and sunlight. So, green plants are autotrophic. Plants which do not contain chlorophyll depend on other living organisms for their food. Thus, the plants which do not contain chlorophyll are heterotrophs and their mode of nutrition is heterotrophic. Various types of heterotrophic nutritions are: first one is parasitic plants or parasitic nutrition. The mode of nutrition in which plants derive their food from the bodies of some other green plants and animals is called parasitic. The green plant or the animal which provides the food is called the host. The plants which derive their food from the bodies of the host plants and animals are called parasites or parasitic plants. The parasitic plants may be total parasites or partial parasites. The plants which depend wholly on the host plant or for their food are called totally parasitic plants. Plants such as cuscuta or amarbale, apodentis, certain bacteria and fungi are totally parasitic. The plants which make a part of their food themselves by photosynthesis but derive other components such as water, minerals, etc. of food from host plants are called partial parasitic. Now, next mode of nutrition is insectivorous nutrition. The mode of nutrition in which green plants make their own food but depends on insects for nitrogenous food is called insectivorous nutrition. The green plants which make their own food but depends on insect for nitrogenous food are called insectivorous plants. Plants such as picture plant or nepenthes, sundew and bladderwort derive their nutrition partly from the soil and the atmosphere and partly from small insects. These plants are called insectivorous plants. Now, saprophytic nutrition. The plants which derive their food from the dead and decaying organic matter are called saprophytes or saprophytic plants or saprotrophs. The mode of nutrition in plants such as fungi, example bread mold, mushrooms and some bacteria, example lactobacillus, Acetobacter, is saprophytic because they derive their food from the dead and decaying organic matter. Saprotrophs secrete digestive juices on the dead and decaying matter and convert them into a solution. Then they absorb the nutrients from it. Now, next question arises: how does picture plant derive its food from insects? Picture plant has long picture-like structure, modified part of leaves hanging from tip of a leaf. The apex of the leaf form a lid which can close and open the mouth of the picture. The inner surface of the picture has hair directed downwards. So now next nutrition is symbiotic nutrition. The two plants which live together as parts of the same plant and mutually help each other are called symbionts. Such relationship of mutually helping each other is called symbiosis. The mode of nutrition in lichens or lichens is symbiotic. A lichen is made up of a fungus and an alga living together. In lichens, alga or autotroph and fungus saprophyte depend on one another for their nutritional needs. The fungus supplies water and minerals to the alga. The alga, being green and autotroph, synthesize food by photosynthesis and supplies organic food to the fungus. Now, next question is, how are nutrients replenished in the soil? So this is lichen, as you can see. So now plants get their mineral nutrients from the soil. If crops or plants are grown year after year, the soil will become poorer in such nutrients. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, calcium are the major nutrients. In addition to these, plants also need iron, copper, magnesium, zinc, etc. in smaller amount. So if the soil becomes poorer in these nutrients, it loses its fertility and crop yields falls. Therefore, it is important to replenish to make up the loss these nutrients in the soil. This is done by one or more of the following method. First is by using manure. Second is by using fertilizers. Third is by using crop rotation. So usually plants requires a lot of nitrogen to make protein. Nitrogen in the soil can be replenished by using manure or spent slurry from the biogas. Nitrogenous fertilizers such as urea, ammonium nitrate, ammonium sulfate, etc. By crop rotation method, the practice of sowing a cereal crop alternatively to a leguminous crop such as gram, peas, moong, beans, etc. are legumes. The roots of these crops have nodules on them. These nodules have symbiotic bacteria. These bacteria have a property to convert atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates. The nitrates are soluble in water and can provide nitrogen to plants. The rhizobium can convert atmospheric nitrogen into soluble salts of nitrogen. So this was all about the chapter number 1, nutrition in plants.